Okay, so as I was saying, there's two parts to the war right now. There's the conquering back the south and really going into Gaza and conquering defending the north. The second part of the second front line is what I do, and that is again something I didn't think it would ever come to practice. It was all in the theoretical when we learned about it, and that is the Chevra Kaddisha of the army. And the past 3 days, what I've been dealing with is trying to identify as many people as possible, so like that their families can know whether they were taken captive, chas v'shalom, or whether they got killed, Rahman al-Islam. And we know that every second that a family member is waiting and doesn't know whether their loved one is alive or whether their loved one is taken captive or is dead is just there's no words to really explain. So we work 12-hour shifts, 24 hours a day. I do from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. And what we try to do is really identify as many people as possible. So, for example, yesterday, there were hundreds of people from the party that was down south. And you have to go one by one and you take, I don't need to get into the details, but things that I never thought I would see in my entire life. And you do it knowing that you're sent to do this avoda and to, as much as possible, try to take away some of the pain of Am Yisrael. I'll share with you a few stories, I guess, just from the past 3 days. I have a whole new appreciation. I don't know if you can call it appreciation, but I have a whole new understanding of what the pasuk in Tehillim, when it says damam nishpach kamayim, that Jewish blood was spilled like water. We unfortunately see that, and we have to clean that and bury that. And as I mentioned in one of the shiurim, when someone is killed, al kiddush Hashem means that he's killed because he's Jewish. And that's everyone who we come in contact with. So they're buried the way they are. There's no tahara. The shoes are left on. Everything is left on. And the reason is, so like that, when they get up to Shemayim, it should be me'orer rachamim. It should be me'orer, it should shake the heavens. There were 50 family members, 50 people who were near Be'eri, who were identified. And this is fresh from yesterday. And the person who was identified them was in charge of them. He shared with me yesterday, he said, we identified them. He says, but we have a problem why we can't bury these 50 people, right? Right away, what we try to do is the moment you have them identified, right away, you want to take them out to Levaya and to be able to bury them, A, for the family, and B, for Am Yisrael, right? When Am Yisrael knows that their children are taken care of in the most mechubadik way, and we try our hardest to be mechabe the mason as much as possible, and to get them to kvura as fast as possible. So what this individual said, he said he had 50 people who he identified, but they couldn't bury them for 2 reasons. One, the area was still under fire, and 2, there right now, whenever someone is identified, so the levaya is very small, and they tell the family, and the family gets the body and they bury. He says we have 50 people who there is no family to call. Right? Their parents were taken captive, their brothers were taken captive, their sisters. There's no one to call. So I have 50 people who I can't bury because there's no family members to show up at the levaya. Who's going to come? It's also the law in Israel is that for 2 weeks. You have to wait 2 weeks until a family member is identified. So that's a situation that Am Yisrael is in. Now, why am I sharing with this? Why am I giving you these, morbid, sad stories? I'm giving to you for one reason only, okay? And that's because of the Rambam. The Rambam says as follows: Haporesh midarkei tzibur, someone who separates himself from Am Yisrael. Right? Even though he didn't do any sins, he's the biggest tzaddik in the world, is the Rambam in Hilchos Tshuva Perek Gimel. Aval nivdal me'adat Israel ve'no nichnas b'tzaratam, and he doesn't care, and he doesn't cry and yearn for the pain of his brothers and sisters. He continues his life. He continues life is good, whatever. Yeah, okay, there's a war. We're going to continue. That means you have a guy who his whole life is the biggest tzaddik, fasted every fast, put on tefillin every day, never did any avira. But when Am Yisrael is in pain, he doesn't feel their pain. He doesn't have a chelik olam haba according to the Rambam. So the reason why I'm sharing this with you is so we can be mekayim this din in the Rambam, this halach in the Rambam, that we should really try to feel the pain of Am Yisrael and the pain of what these families are going through, and the torture that the family members are being tortured, and also these people who got killed, Hashem Yirachim, the way some of them got killed, it's, you don't want to know, and I'm not telling you, but it's mamish terrible. But first and foremost, before we could even talk about what we can be mekabel in ourselves, what we can do, how we can move, what should we do forward, first and foremost, I think the most important thing is feel the pain of Am Yisrael. Feel the pain. When you cut your hand, it hurts, right? It hurts, it hurts. That's how you should be feeling, like a limb of yours was amputated. That's what happened to Am Yisrael at Simchat Torah. We had a limb that was amputated. 1,000 people most likely are killed. Right? Since the Holocaust, there hasn't been a single day where this many people got killed in one shot. There's been many, there are kinos that we say on Tisha B'Av that are written about things that are less than what our nation has experienced and is experiencing right now since Shabbos. Just to put that into proportion, what the magnitude of the event that Am Yisrael is going through right now is not it's not a simple thing. And again, first and foremost, I think the first thing we need to do is to feel the pain of Am Yisrael, feel the pain of the family members. Yeah, it's okay to cry. Shed a tear, go to the corner and cry. But when you cry, don't let it be a tear of pity. It shouldn't be a tear of, it's so sad. Every time you cry, turn it into a tefillah. Turn it into you saying, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, please help us. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we need rachamei shamayim. Imamish, we need rachamim. So that's what we should be focusing on, I think, first and foremost. Number one, like I said, feel the pain of Am Yisrael. And when you cry, which you should cry, turn it into a tefillah. Turn it into a tefillah where you're asking HaKadosh Baruch Hu to have mercy on his children, to have mercy on us. What are other things? People ask me, well, what could we work on? What could we do? I'm not a Navi. I'm not the son of a Navi. I have no idea why this happened. I have no idea, you know what? I can just share with you two things. One, like I said, is daven. I think the more we daven, the more we're connected to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the more we have a relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu will help us. Number two, I think, is to work a little bit, and this is just a personal thing, on our gaiva, on our haughtiness, right? Israel was untouchable. You were the strongest nation, laughing at Hamas, where you guys can pull off an attack. Who are you guys? You're nothing. We're ready for war. We're ready on all fronts. We're ready. We're the best army. We can go into Iran and steal their discs and what? Hamas is something. And they caught us with our pants down. They caught us because we were so haughty, and we thought, yeah, everything's good, everything's amazing. So I think on an individual level, when we're dealing with people and when we're talking with people, we should all get off our high horse and say, we're not better than you, right? The Ramban, in his letter to his son, he says, whenever you're talking to a person, you should imagine yourself that you're less than him. Most people, when they talk to people, they enter the conversation, I know what I'm talking about, much better than anyone else here. Or the person who I'm talking to, I'm the guy, I'm the man. So first thing, or losing count. But again, first thing we said is daven, and second thing is to work on our gaiva, to work on our fact that we shouldn't feel haughty. And if we work on our gaiva, if we are able to hear other people, if when we engage with other people, we don't think we're better, we don't think we're smarter, we don't think we're the best and the greatest, so then what will happen is that we'll also be able to hear them, and that naturally will cause unity, right? And that's the third thing that we need to talk about, and that's Achdus and Am Yisrael, and that's already happening. That I don't think needs so much chizuk, because it's already happening. Unfortunately, it had to be this way, as Rabbi Elyada famously says. He says, Am Yisrael were the best at dying together. There is no other nation like us when it comes to dying together. He says, when it's living together, he says, Afilu lo avarnu tiranut. We didn't even go through basic training on how to live together. But unfortunately, this was thrown upon us, and we need to know how to listen better. And if we listen better and we're not bali gaiva, and we don't think we're always better than other people, so then Bezrat Hashem will also have achdus, but a real achdus where I respect the other person and I love the other person. The Medrash says that in the times of David HaMelech, Jews used to go out to battle and they would die. And the Medrash explains that even though he says back then, even a child was an expert in Tumah and Tara, that he would be able to tell you 49 reasons why this thing is Tahar and 49 reasons why this thing is Tameh. And we knew Kol HaTorah Kula, everything. Right? Every child was a Shas child. But when we went out to war, we died. But in the door of Achav, where Jews worshipped Avodah Zarah, every time we went out to war, we won. And the Medrash says, why? Because even in the door of Achav, when we worshipped Avodah Zarah, but we were together. We were united. And Achdus of Am Yisrael is the greatest thing. And I think those of us who are in service now, or you have family that's in service, I'm sure if you're able to talk to them, they'll tell you that the amount of unity, of pouring of love, I could just tell you on our base today, nonstop, people dropping things off at the gate, food and supplies, and just like it's heartwarming for every soldier, and it's amazing thing how Jews from all over the world really want to come together. So 3 things to work on, like we said. Number 1, David. Tefillah, there's nothing standing. Well, let's go all the way back because I'm losing count. Number 1 is to feel the pain of Am Yisrael and to shed a tear. When you do that, do it as a tefillah. Daven to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Close your eyes and make your tear into a cry. Number 2 is to work on I'm losing count. Number 2 is to, number 1 we said is to number 1 is to feel the pain of Am Yisrael. Number 2 is to daven. When you're crying, shed a tear for Am Yisrael. And daven really with a full heart. Number 4 is gaiva, not to think we're the greatest, not to think we're the smartest when we're talking to one another, to really have an open heart and an open mind. And that will lead to the 4th thing, which is achdus, which is unity, which Am Yisrael is really doing now. And then the 5th thing, and this is what I want to end off with, is that right now we're in the middle of it. Right now it's chaotic. Right now it's insane. There's no other way to describe what's going on right now. It's crazy. But if you remember, I want to remind you, a few years back, when COVID broke out, it was nuts. And everyone was like, oh my goodness, the world is coming to an end. What's going to happen? People are wiping down their groceries. And then the world continues. And that's as the world picture. Am Yisrael as a nation. Throughout our history, we have had our ups and downs. This is for sure a dip in Am Yisrael. Like I said, it was the deadliest day that Am Yisrael had since the Holocaust. But Am Yisrael never breaks. We never break. We never are completely broken. And we're not going to completely break now also. And it's period. It's not going to happen. Am Yisrael is here for the long run. We said also, we say on in Pesach, every generation people want to kill us. It's no different. Our generation don't think that this is the end of the world, chas v'shalom, or this is who knows what's happening. This is not the end of the world. This is part of our walking towards the Geula, of us getting closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Do I understand why it happened? Absolutely not. I'm not a Navi. I'm not the son of a Navi, like I said before. But that's not what we should focus on. We should focus on becoming better people, becoming closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Like the Rambam also says that every time something happens, a person needs to think how HaKadosh Baruch Hu is talking to you. So how does he want me to become a better Jew? And we should really strive to become better people, to daven better, to love each other more, to have less gaiva, which will lead to be, towards one another, but also to remember that Am Yisrael Chai for thousands of years, and Am Yisrael Chai in the future, forever and ever. We're not going anywhere, right? Ever. So everyone needs to, we can calm down. We can calm down, but we also need to daven. Meaning, it's like don't become hysterical. Don't become crazy. Don't become, oh my goodness, the world's coming to an end from the north, from the south. It's very scary. Turn on the news. What's going to happen? Oh my goodness, bomb shelters. I heard yesterday that they stock up for food for 72 hours and everyone went. There was no water. Everyone ran to the things, which is good. Again, protect your family, protect yourself. But we need to realize, and this is, I guess, the last thing we can talk about, Emunah and Bitachon and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Faith in Hashem. Hashem brought us to Eretz Yisrael. Right? We're not, we live here on Nisim. We live here through miracles. Right, and we see it daily, and when the miracle stops, so then we see what we experienced, this past Shabbos. But Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael will be here forever, and we're going to continue to thrive and to grow. And B'ezrat Hashem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will answer our tefillos, and B'ezrat Hashem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will bring back all those who are taken captive back full, shleimim, in their body, in their soul, psychologically, mentally. And they should all come back. How is it going to happen? I have no idea. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu also created the state of Israel, and in 6 days we got all of the land of Israel in 6 full days. So in 1 second, HaKadosh Baruch Hu could bring all 150 back. We're not God's secretary. It's not our job to figure out how things are going to happen and how it's going to happen and how are they going to come back. Our job is to daven the HaKadosh Baruch Hu, bring them back now. Bring them back now, and no soldier should chas v'shalom be injured. No soldier should get hurt. No soldier should chas v'shalom die in battle, and we should all come back healthy and safe. So let's just end off. We'll say 2 prakim of Tehillim. I'll read them pasuk by pasuk, and then we'll say Achenu K'beis Yisrael. Shir Amalos Mima Makim Krasicha Adinai Adinai Shema Bekoili Tiena Iznecha Kashuvais Lekol Tachanunai Ima Vinais Tishmoria Adinai Miamoid Kim Chas Licha Leman Tivorei Kivisi Adinai Kivsa Nafshi Velidvaraya Ichalti Nafshi Adinai Mishomrim Na Beker Shomrim Na Beker Yachel Yisrael El Adinai Kima Adinai Chesed V'Arbei Ma'ifidus והוא יפתה את ישראל מכל עוון עשיו. שיר למעלה שא עיני אל ההרים, מאין אבוא עזרי ממדיני אעשה שמיים וארץ, אל ייתן למוט רגליך, אל ינום שומרך, הנה לא ינום ולא יישן שומר ישראל, אדוני שומרך, אדוני צילך על יד ימינך, ימם השמש לא יכך וירח בלילה, אדוני ישמורך מכל רע, ישמור את נפשך, אדוני ישמור צאצאך ויחם מעתה ועד עולם, אחינו כל בית ישראל, הנתונים בצרה ובשביה, העומדים בין בים ובין ביבשה, המקום ירחם עליהם, ויוציאם מצרה לברכה, מאפלה לאורה, משעבוד לגאולה, Hashlebar Galav Izman Kariv, Venomar, Amen. Kadosh Baruch Hu should protect Am Yisrael, should protect every single one of you, should protect all our soldiers on the front lines, should give all of Am Yisrael and all the soldiers the physical strength, the emotional strength, and the capability to go and annihilate our enemies. That's what we need to do right now. We should have zero Rahmanis, and if you would see what happened to Am Yisrael, to the people who I deal with, you'll realize that when the Torah calls Yishmael Hera Adam, it was nice to them. It was a compliment that they're wild, vicious animals. That's a compliment. But Nesiyata Dishmaya, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will continue to daven, will continue to strengthen ourselves, and B'ezrat Hashem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will never forsake Am Yisrael, won't forsake us now, we should stay strong, and we should stay united, and we should really, whatever you can do. I think any davening, tefillah, there's tzitzis drives, there's everyone's doing something, baking food, whatever it is that you can do to show that you're part of Am Yisrael, to show that you care, is an incredible thing. Don't think that, the soldiers are getting so much already. We are getting a lot, but it's heartwarming and it's amazing. And continue, and Hashem should bless you all. Baruch Nisa v'gashmias, and we should go Mechail l'chail. And the next Zoom, we should discuss all the smachos and all the happy things that are happening to Am Yisrael. B'ezrat Hashem. Kol tov, sei gesund, and besorot tovot for all of Am Yisrael.